The announcement came through social media first, as these things often do in 2026. Rory McIlroy, sitting across from Gary Neville, Roy Keane, and Jamie Carragher on the Overlap podcast, casually dropped a statement that sent shockwaves rippling through every corner of professional golf. The man who once called LIV golf players selfish and naive, who positioned himself as the PGA Tour's most unwavering defender, who publicly questioned the character of anyone who took Saudi money, just said he'd welcome them back without punishment. No suspensions, no fines, no consequences whatsoever. Just open the doors and let them walk right back in. Within minutes, the clip was everywhere. Golf Twitter exploded into chaos. Player group chats lit up with messages of confusion, anger, and disbelief. Tour officials scrambled to figure out what this meant for ongoing negotiations. Fans who had spent years defending their chosen side suddenly found themselves questioning whether the battle lines they'd drawn so firmly were about to be erased entirely. Because when Rory McIlroy changes his mind about something this fundamental, it doesn't just create headlines. It forces everyone in professional golf to reconsider everything they thought they knew about where the sport is headed. The timing of McIlroy's comments couldn't be more explosive. Just 2 weeks earlier, Brooks Koepka shocked the golf world by announcing his departure from LIV Golf. The five-time major champion, who reportedly had a year remaining on his contract worth over $100 million, cited family and wanting to spend more time at home as his reasons for leaving. According to ESPN, Koepka informed the PGA Tour of his plans before making the announcement public and has already applied for reinstatement of his membership. The PGA Tour responded with a carefully worded statement calling Koepka a highly accomplished professional, while emphasizing that they offer the most competitive and lucrative environment for golfers. That political non-answer left everyone wondering what would actually happen if Koepka tried to return. That's where McIlroy's Bombshell comes in. Speaking on the Overlap, which aired in early January 2026, McIlroy didn't hold back. According to Yahoo Sports, he stated that LIV players have already paid their consequence in terms of reputation and the things they've lost by going over there. If it made the overall tour stronger to have Bryson DeChambeau back and whoever else, he would be okay with it. But he acknowledged that not everyone is in his position, so it would be up to the collective group of PGA Tour members to make that decision. This represents a stunning reversal from the player who once described Phil Mickelson as naive, selfish, egotistical, and ignorant for joining LIV. The contrast between McIlroy's words now and his rhetoric from just a few years ago is genuinely jarring. Back when LIV Golf first emerged as a serious threat in 2022, Rory didn't just oppose it, he actively campaigned against it with the fervor of someone defending sacred ground. He spoke at player meetings, gave impassioned press conferences defending the PGA Tour's legacy, and openly questioned whether LIV players should even be welcomed at major championships. He framed the debate in moral terms, suggesting that players who accepted guaranteed contracts were somehow betraying the competitive spirit that made golf great. His position was clear, uncompromising, and seemingly permanent. Front Office Sports reported that McIlroy was one of LIV Golf's most prominent critics, making his current stance all the more remarkable. So what changed? According to multiple reports, several factors contributed to this dramatic evolution in McIlroy's thinking. First, LIV has demonstrated genuine staying power that nobody predicted. Early critics, including McIlroy himself, predicted it would collapse under its own weight, that fans wouldn't embrace the new format, that sponsors would stay away, that the whole experiment would prove unsustainable once the initial hype wore off. None of that happened. LIV secured broadcast deals, attracted television audiences, and most importantly, continued writing checks that never bounced. When something you predicted would fail spectacularly instead becomes a permanent fixture of the landscape, it forces you to recalibrate your entire worldview about what's possible. Second, the human element became impossible to ignore. These aren't abstract figures on a rival tour wearing enemy colors. They're friends, practice partners, Ryder Cup teammates, and guys McIlroy has competed alongside for years. Maintaining righteous indignation becomes exponentially harder when it means writing off people you genuinely respect and care about. The personal relationships that define professional golf's relatively small elite community didn't dissolve just because employment contracts changed. McIlroy seems to have recognized that treating former colleagues as permanent outcasts isn't sustainable psychologically, professionally, or for the health of the sport itself. Third, and perhaps most significantly, Brooks Koepka's departure has changed the entire calculus of the LIV debate. Sky Sports reported that Koepka leaving was a blow for LIV Golf, especially as the circuit fights to secure world ranking points for its players. McIlroy himself acknowledged on the overlap that having the best players together only 4 or 5 times a year at majors and the Ryder Cup isn't enough. For golf to remain relevant, they need to compete more frequently. That's a practical observation, not an ideological statement. It's recognition that the current situation serves nobody's interests, least of all the fans who fund the entire enterprise. McIlroy's openness about his own evolution is equally striking. According to Yahoo Sports, he admitted in early 2024 that he was too judgmental of players who joined LIV. He recognized that not everyone is in the same position as him or Tiger Woods, and when you get offered double the money to do the same job, it's sort of hard to turn down. This represents genuine introspection from someone who built his public identity around unwavering loyalty to the PGA Tour. It takes courage to admit you were wrong, especially when millions of people heard you say otherwise for years. The Brooks Koepka situation has become the test case for everything McIlroy is now advocating. According to CBS Sports, Koepka applied for PGA Tour reinstatement less than a month after departing LIV Golf. The procedure for reinstatement remains unclear, as many within the PGA Tour membership expect some form of disciplinary action or restitution before golfers like Koepka can compete in tournaments again. The PGA Tour currently has a 1-year suspension in place for golfers who participate in unauthorized events, and LIV tournaments definitely fit that category. But will they actually enforce it? And if they do, will it be a blanket policy or case-by-case decisions that create more controversy than clarity? McIlroy's position is that no punishment is necessary because these players have already suffered consequences that matter more than suspensions. Their reputations took hits. They lost access to certain events and competitions. They missed out on the camaraderie and weekly competition that defines life on the PGA Tour. According to Outkick, McIlroy emphasized that if bringing back players like Bryson DeChambeau and others makes the overall tour stronger, he would be okay with it. That's a pragmatic assessment focused on what's best for professional golf as a business and entertainment product, not what feels most satisfying from a loyalty or revenge perspective. Billy Horschel, another prominent PGA Tour player, echoed similar sentiments earlier in the week. He was once in favor of punishment for any LIV players wanting to return, but now sees it as a betterment of the product. This suggests that McIlroy isn't alone in his evolving perspective. Other influential players are reaching similar conclusions, which could accelerate momentum towards some form of reconciliation or pathway back for LIV defectors. The Bryson DeChambeau situation adds another fascinating layer to this story. According to Golf Magic, DeChambeau has confirmed he will play LIV Golf in 2026, but stopped short of saying whether he has signed a contract extension. His current deal